Force Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Intermountain Health, helping people live the healthiest lives possible. Well, it's a 3-2 final inside Cadet Ice Arena, and a Friday crowd heads home sad in the snow as the Falcons lose this one in what really was a dominant game early on. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside our broadcast booth for the postgame show. I'm Nick Gismondi, alongside my partner, Ryan Kaufman. And it had promise at the start, buddy. It just really sort of fell off at the end, Partsy. And I think this is another one of those efforts that Coach Frank Serratore is not going to be pleased with.
Yeah, you got to play for 60 minutes. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. I think the first period for Air Force was terrific.
Yeah.
They ended up winning the third period. That second period was their undoing. And even if you outplay a team for the majority of the game, if you aren't the better team for 60 minutes, these things can happen. Look, Sacred Heart is second in the conference for a reason. They're really good. And Air Force, I think that second period is what they're really going to regret tonight.
It's a big 2 points for the Pioneers. Let's take you through how it happened. Here's the highlights. We'll pick it up in the first period. At 2:43, it was Parker Brown from Will Gavin and Luke Robinson.
Yeah, it was a great feed from Gavin, what he needed to do there to feed Parker Brown, and he thought, all right, Air Force going to get it going. Maybe the second goal wasn't too far behind, but that was not the case.
21 minutes without a shot on goal, and then the next two went in, including this one at 9:29 from Connor Hutchinson from Lombardi and Marino.
That's what they do. They are so efficient, and they look to pounce on mistakes like that or rebounds like that, and Hutchinson with his first goal of the year.
Flip it, run it back at 2:44. It would be Marino the goal scorer, Lombardi the assist man, and Joggin picking one up also.
Yeah, they have skill up and down their lineup, all 3D pairings, all four lines, and you saw it on display tonight.
The third period started off good, and it looked like momentum was firmly in favor of the Falcons, but then at 16:08, it was Joggin from Adamson and Jaworski.
Yeah, and that was one that ultimately would prove to be the difference maker, but Air Force did not give up. They kept battling, and they got that second one.
Great sustained pressure, and it was Cosentino at 3:38 on a beauty of a rip on a great pass from Hedden, and Brown picking up an assist as well.
Yeah, and Cosentino, somebody that's been so good on the face-off dot, good to see him get rewarded with a goal of his own.
These numbers are weird. 33 and 13, the shots in favor of Air Force. Nobody did anything on the power play. A shot that the Pioneers took 4 penalties. And the face-off category started off in favor of Sacred Heart, but ended up being dominated by the Falcons, hence why we saw a good finish to that third period from them.
Yeah, and look, shots on goal, it could be one of the most misleading stats in hockey. You can outshoot your opponent by a bunch, and if you don't get those high-quality chances, then it's not going to matter, and that was the case tonight. Sacred Heart made the most of their opportunities. Air Force did not.
Your homework for tonight is to figure out the playoff scenario and what needs to happen tomorrow across the league and how that'll all play out. But what else does this Air Force team need to do other than play that full 60 tomorrow if they want to pick up 2 points and split this weekend?
Well, I think if the opportunities come along for them to get on the power play, their speed was an issue for Sacred Heart tonight. So they need to come out with that pace, and when they get on the power play, they got to figure out a way to break down this Sacred Heart team. They've sat back in the neutral zone waiting for Air Force to come get them. They got to figure out some ways to get through the seams, because if Sacred Heart takes 4 penalties tomorrow night, they need to take advantage.
Partner, good stuff. Get home safe in the snow, and I'm bringing a sleeping bag tomorrow just in case we get stuck down here.
And some cocoa?
Some cocoa of something of that variety. All right, the final score tonight, Air Force 2, Sacred Heart 3. Tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. to catch Game 2 of this series right here on Altitude. This has been a presentation of Altitude Sports and Entertainment, your home for the Air Force Falcons. From myself, Nick Gismondi, our entire crew and producer, Andrew, my partner, Ryan Kaufman, and the entire gang, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you all season long on Altitude Sports. Good night, everybody.